Welcome back to the Smarktank Revolution, where we always kick out at 2. We're fresh off the heels of AEW's All Out. But before we begin with that, I am your host, the benevolent, intelligent Donnie Wonderful, with my co-host, the taunting tribal chief,
damn right,
Mr. Joey Business, and we have a special guest today.
They call me Crusher Caligri, and head of the table. You get out of line, I will crush you.
That's very
Fair
Ivan
enough.
Drago. Was it Ivan Drago? Very Russian Rocky Four-ish.
Yep.
I must break you.
I must break you.
If he dies, he dies.
You will lose.
Yeah, man. We literally just minutes off of AEW's All Out. A couple of
surprises.
returns. A couple of them.
Yeah.
A couple of them. I emphasize that again, man. This was a great event, a great night of wrestling, a breath of fresh air. You know, SummerSlam was the last event we did together,
right.
And that was pretty good. I remember leaving with a good taste in my mouth. But this, ladies and gentlemen, this was what wrestling should have been presented as a whole. I think, in my opinion, the best, and we'll go down the card, but the best match of the night was what we all as wrestling fans. I mean, I didn't know what to expect with it. And maybe that's giving it up. Maybe that's foreshadowing what I thought the best match of the night was. But I mean, I'm just happy that we had a little bit of everything. You know, the acrobatics,
Right.
the traditional wrestling matches, the traditional styles. Pandemonium, chaos. We got all of that in here today. Not that many, not as many botches either. So
No.
I want to commend the talent of AEW. I mean, it feels like year to year or pay-per-view to pay-per-view, they're getting better each time. What you think, Joe?
Dude, it was like a renaissance of wrestling. You know, it's something we've missed for a while. You said SummerSlam left a good taste in your mouth. It did with me, but like tonight was all taste. Almost through the show. I mean, there was maybe, well, let's look at one low spot. 1 out of 10 matches. And they brought it almost every match. And even the low spot, we even said, it's low, but it's a good low. You know what I mean?
I can agree with that.
And, you know, bipolar booking, as
Yes.
you put it,
Yes.
aside,
Yes.
if we just treat this as contest for contest, fantastic. Show of the year.
What'd you think of the show, Crusher?
I gotta admit, I'll tell you, it was nice to see a steel cage match that actually had the drama and, you know, the athleticism. The two teams that competed in it were just, they put their bodies on the line, they put their careers on the line to entertain us. And this is what us wrestling fans deserve, to be treated to a show, you know. And, you know, I commend these guys for what they do. And personally for me, I loved it when the shoe was pulled out with the thumbtacks. All I could think of when I saw that was old school Mick Foley and Terry Funk in their matches over in Japan.
But hold on,
we're getting ahead of ourselves.
We didn't get there, but
But I mean, honestly, this night was booked as the return of CM Punk.
Yes.
It's in Chicago. It was the focus, but the way it all came off when you put it all together, I honestly think everything added. Like, yeah, Punk was amazing. That part was great. But everything else wasn't overshadowed. Like, I didn't feel like it was supplementary at all. It was complementary.
Well, you know, I also think that AEW's formula with pay-per-views, I can't think of I think they have a great formula. That's what I meant to say. But I don't. You know, they don't oversaturate us like Vince and the WWE does.
Right.
So, you know, like, I love the fact that the next pay-per-view is in November. Give us some break. Give us a time to miss it, and then, you know, like,
Bring it back.
Yeah, bring it back. So, you know, like, pay-per-views actually mean something. The only criticism I ever had of AEW is that sometimes with the Young Bucks specifically, you know, like, they wrestle an entertaining style, but they do it every week.
Right.
They give us that type of like standard every single week. So, like, our joke coming in was that we knew that the Young Bucks was going to go 35, 45 minutes.
And it did.
And there was going to be tons of super kicks.
Right.
Ain't that right, Crusher?
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
And
And the thing was,
taking account on how many between both teams.
Oh, yeah.
and the thing was, going in, we were like, oh, it's academic. That might be the match of the night.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And honestly, I mean, it kind of hit the standard, but that's not a bad thing. And as far as what you said, this is a true alternative to WWE, I feel.
Especially after how the event concluded.
Right. This isn't just a new coat of paint on another wrestling promotion.
Right.
This is different. It's booked different. It feels different. And it gives you what it's worth. I mean, we paid for this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have Peacock, you pay nothing. It's like $4.99 a month, and you get all the pay-per-views. This I had to pay $50, and I can't replay it, can't rewatch it, can't pause it, and I still feel like I got a bargain.
And you were saying that all night.
Yeah,
You were saying that all night. So
which is impressive.
before we go down the card,
Mm-hmm.
I think we're probably gonna have to do this traditionally at the beginning of all of these videos, and by the
Right.
time you know you the listeners here, I'm like, we're gonna chop everything up just to make everything a little more condensed. But we have to go over our unique rating system
Once again.
and this is just gonna happen. Our rating system is just as bipolar as some of the booking in wrestling.
Yep.
We typically use wrestling terminology. So 1 count, 2 count, 3 counts,
4 count.
DQs. I think I'm gonna start introducing in count outs if I'm confused. But basically, like we use the major outcomes in wrestling matches to determine how good they are. So
Right.
a 1 count could be terrible, but also a 1 count could be
Could be
pretty
good.
good.
Yeah.
So it really depends on the mood that we're in and what we see.
Agreed.
Agreed.
But and also if we keep everything between a 1, 2, 3 count and the exceptional rules where there's been 4 and 5 counts,
No 5 count.
did you not give Roman Reigns and John Cena a 5 count?
No, I gave it a 4.5.
All right. What's a 4.5?
Very
when
close.
1, 2, 3 is over. But no, see, this is a perfect example. This is how our rating system is. A 2 count could be meh, or a 2 count be like, you know what, that's great.
Right.
A 3 count is typically what would be a Dave Meltzer 5-star match, or 8-star match, and that's why we go over 3 counts. But like I said, it says bipolar is some of the booking in wrestling.
But that's part of the fun, the interpretation. You know what I mean? And the thing is, also, I rank off emotion. You rank a little differently.
Yes.
So going back and rewatching some of my rankings from previous videos, they don't stand
Yeah, exactly.
at all.
Even before we go down into the to the cards, our listeners know that you're a big Ric Flair fan,
Huge.
huge Ric Flair fan.
Woo!
My listeners know. I mean, not me. Our listeners also know that I'm a huge Bret Hart fan.
Yes.
Bret Hart fan. And you guys didn't see this because you can't see it right now. But the question just put his hand up. Who's your favorite wrestler, or who's on your Mount Rushmore of wrestlers?
Okay, Bret the Hitman Hart.
And you know what? We can just stop there. We don't even have to go any further than that. It'd be Bret Hart, Bret Hart, Bret Hart, Bret Hart. It'd be Hart Foundation Bret Hart. It'd be 1992 Bret Hart. It'd be 1997 Bret Hart. And hell, let's throw WCW Bret Hart in there. But
No WCW Bret Hart.
the excellence of execution is always excellent.
That
baby.
was garbage.
He said the best there is, best there was, best there ever will be.
Honestly,
Okay,
Bret
fine.
would have had a good run in WCW if it wasn't for that concussion he suffered at Starrcade '99.
Agreed.
And Eric kicked to the temple.
Damn you, Goldberg. Damn you.
Or if he was booked good.
But
Damn you, Eric.
But if you're talking my favorite all-time 4 wrestlers,
Yes.
Bret Hart, Triple H,
Oh, wow. Oh, interesting. I like that. I like that, though. I like
Chris
that.
Jericho, and my 4th one, how could you bet against the dead man, The Undertaker?
Who arguably could be
The best.
the best that ever did. Like, I
Yeah.
like wrestlers that never claim it, that
Right.
we anoint them that
Right.
because they deserve it. Matter of fact,
Unlike the head of the table who deserves it, but whatever.
But the thing I liked about Jericho and The Undertaker, they could reinvent themselves and still get that emotion out of you, get the fans' reaction, no matter what persona they have.
Yep.
Okay.
Like the Undertaker could, he went from the dead man to the American badass back to the dead man, but he was still Mark Calloway no matter how you looked at it. And just like Jericho, when he first came out with the Lionheart in WCW, they became that crybaby. And then when he went to the WWE, I mean, he flourished.
Several faces of Jericho.
Mm-hmm.
But all he wanted was to get a reaction out of fans, and that's what he got out of it. And then, obviously we know he's a big music,
Right.
I'm a huge Fozzy fan. I could sit there and listen to them all day.
Exactly.
But
So
the fact they could always reiterate different characters and make it work in the 30 plus years they both have been in the business is a testament of how good they really are.
Okay, so
Exactly.
we speak of wrestlers.
Haymaker, Le Champion, Demo God, and
Warzone,
Chris
De Leon.
Jericho.
But you know who else is good at reinventing themselves? Matt Hardy. Matt
Yes.
Hardy,
Yeah.
and that's a perfect transition to the to the All Out pay-per-view.
Let's go.
I mean, that was the pre-show, right?
I don't know. Like, how did that work? It was at 7, and it was on.
It
It
was
was
like-
live.
But it started at all right. So they had the promo packages begin at 7, and then that match started like at 7:30.
Yeah, you're right.
But so we'll just call it the pre-show because
Okay.
you could watch, even though you had to order that to see it. That was kind of weird.
That's what I'm saying.
Because, like, okay, I call it the pre-show because we were still seeing ads to order it.
Yeah,
Right.
like the kickoff show.
The kickoff show, but the kickoff show is usually. Wait, do they still advertise purchase this pay-per-view during a kickoff show? Or
Yeah.
Well, I mean, normally when I order the pay-per-view, you don't get a kickoff show match. It's on YouTube, and then it goes to the pay-per-view.
Was it on YouTube? We
That's
didn't
what I'm
even-
thinking right now that we missed the
okay.
men's.
All right. Well, I mean, nevertheless, the I guess the kickoff show or the preliminary match was the
Best friends
best friends in Jurassic Express
and the HFO.
versus the HFO. Not really a huge fan of kickoff shows,
Right.
matches for some reason. It wasn't bad to watch. I just couldn't understand if it was actually part of the pay-per-view or not.
Right. And it didn't set anything on fire.
It had the lackluster to it.
Hey,
It wasn't bad though, like you said. Like these rankings we gave aren't bad. They're just kind of there. They're satisfactory. So I gave it a 2. You gave it a 1.5.
Okay, let me explain this 1.5. So
Go ahead.
because it wasn't a bad match. It was, you sit down at the restaurant. They ask you, do you want what you want to drink first?
Water.
Yeah, you get your water, but then he comes and gives you your glass of water and brings you your bread, and that's what it was for me. It was just the bread. I had some butter, if
Fair enough.
put some butter on it, like that's all it was. It wasn't nothing stood out. I mean, I love I'm freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy,
Right.
but like it was just that. It was a nice little,
Start.
wet your whistles with this agua.
Yeah.
Appetizer.
What you
Yeah.
think, Crusher?
I would say like a 1.5. Like you said, you sit down at the table, you get your bread, you get your appetizer, and another reason I've always liked Matt Hardy,
Me too.
especially the broken Matt Hardy gimmick. Delete. King Maxwell, you must take over the Hardy compound.
Yeah, I mean, he's a guy, like you said, who can always reinvent himself. And for me, especially you, since we met him and we talked to him personally and had a really good extensive
He
talk,
swerved us.
he is a mind of wrestling that I didn't give him credit before. He's like a Paul Heyman.
He is.
I would honestly put him in that category.
is.
He's
And-
very smart.
And just so I can explain the ad lib of him swerving us, that was actually a good thing.
Yeah.
I don't. It must have been like 2016 or right before WrestleMania 33, right?
2016.
2016, whatever year I said.
Wait. Yeah.
2016.
It was right before they came back.
Yeah.
You're
So
right.
so
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 2015.
Matt himself.
2017.
So they came back in 2017.
It was 2016.
So it was
Yeah,
2016.
yeah,
So
yeah.
Matt
Okay.
himself, I think he had just had another child and told us personally that he wasn't interested in wrestling for WWE again because he didn't want to wrestle full time. He didn't want the full time schedule. He loved it. He loved what Dixie at the time was allowing him to do.
Right, the freedom.
The freedom, and at the time, I think TNA was like up for sale, and he was putting a bid in for that. Because I remember him specifically saying, though, almost verbatim, that I like I don't want to really wrestle full time. I
Right.
like having the freedom. Just had another child, so on and so forth. So when we hear the rumors that the Hardys are coming back,
We didn't believe it. We were like, "Nah, we know."
I'm like, hey, if I wish somebody would have asked me, well, D, how do you know? I would have chuckled and said, trust me, I know. I heard it from the horse's mouth. I heard it from the man himself.
Right.
And lo and behold, they came back. So yeah, I just wanted to explain that little swerve ad lib. But yeah, it wasn't
awesome.
It wasn't a bad match. Like I said, Joey, you gave it a 2 count. I gave it a 1.5.
Yeah.
The Crusher gave it a 1.5.